Hello, friends. It's Thursday. That means it's time for the Tarot Topics Weekly Newsletter Recap. Tarot Topics Weekly Newsletter comes into your inbox every Wednesday. We do a different topic every week. This week's topic was fun because it was inspired by y'all in the Saturday Psychic Sampler, where there was like this core. For those of you who don't know, for the Saturday Psychic Sampler, you can ask any question you want. And there was this just a group vibe going on where a lot of the questions were about feeling like we don't fit in. And so one of you, I don't remember who it was, suggested that that should be the newsletter topic, and so it is. The newsletter topic, not like the other kids, where we explore all of the things about not fitting in. And Melissa, I just happened to notice your comment. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for 2 years. Where you say, this is a heavy one, and as you point out in the newsletter, likely a core wound for most of us. And, you know, as I was getting ready to come on air, and I'm reading that, and I'm thinking, so if most of us feel like we didn't fit in, what were we fitting into? You know, like, what is, like, there's something really interesting there. So let's get right on over to CardCam. There we go. You can see I'm working with Lightseers Tarot today. Thank you, members, those of you who were able to come to our members-only live stream last night. Thanks for being there. And if you weren't there and wanted to check it out, we did do some fun things. I woke up this morning thinking about which Eagles songs could be which cards. And I'm laughing to myself about whether Take It to the Limit could be Temperance, which I realize title-wise doesn't make sense. But if you think about some of the lyrics, I think it could work. So there it is. There it is. Right, Lucid in the Matrix. The more outnumbered I become, the more I feel like a part of something bigger. And yeah, that's something we really discussed in the newsletter, is that, like, for me, the more I lean into just being who I am and not trying to fit in, the more I find I fit in with lots of different people, although maintain a certain unique status, I suppose. So I think it's going to be different for each of us, right? All right. Let's see. Let's hang on. So obviously, what are we doing today? We are doing questions about fitting in, healing from that wound, friendships, all of that. How we manage the social energies around us. And we'll start with Febborn. It's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. This is more of a statement, but if you find it leads to a question, I'll take it. I used to try fitting in with my siblings. I don't anymore, and it feels good. Man, I think it could be a lot of people have this issue. Like, it's so good when a sibling group grows into adulthood and they stay close friends. That's such a wonderful thing. But not every sibling group will. And I think very often in a sibling group, there's one that sort of doesn't fit in. I've often referred to myself as the tie-dyed sheep of my family. So yeah. So as regards this, like fitting in with your sibling group, Febborn, Ace of Wands, yeah, no, you don't. But if you just be yourself, you don't necessarily have to fit in to sometimes enjoy them and have them sometimes enjoy you. Like, we can still love each other and appreciate each other, that we are family, without actually trying to fit in as a cohesive group. That's what I would have to say about that. Ginny Mnuchin, tie-dyed sheep. Love that. Yeah. All right. Barbie Bird, good to see you. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. Well, this is a topic I know all too well. Since I was a kid, I found it so hard to feel like I was part of a group. Even within exclusive groups that I paid to be a part of, I was a figure skater. There you go. For over over the years, never felt like I belonged with the other kids because they were wealthier than my family. And within friend groups, I still struggle with with feeling on the outside and wanting to belong, but also wanting to stand out as an individual, but not too much, is something I really resonate with. As I get older, I definitely find it a little easier to be confident and comfortable with who I am. I'm curious if the cards have anything to say about my otherness. Am I from a different planet? I mean, you know, the starseed people would say, yeah, you could be. You could be Syrian. You could be Pleiadian. Like the starseed people absolutely believe that that is a thing. And I'll tell you something. For the longest time, I sort of poo-pooed that whole construct, the whole construct of starseed. The idea of some beings on this planet actually literally being from another place. And I poo-pooed it big time until the Syrian Starseed Tarot came out, and the author, creator, asked, I was doing a webcast. This was long before we had live streaming. I was doing a webcast, and she wanted to be interviewed on the webcast. I'm like, okay, fine. And I was like, man, how am I going to do this? Because I think what you do is weird. And she was the most interesting, grounded, smart, creative person. I vibed with her so well. And I ended that interview believing in the starseed thing. So I am completely, at this point, willing to say that this is a possibility for you, Barbie Bird, and for many of us. Barbie said, yeah, I feel like I'm a starseed, but I don't know. I've always longed for some... Right. That's the one. That's what she said to me. She said, the thing that all the people who we sort of identify as starseed have in common is they are all longing to go home, but they can't identify where that home is. So there's that. Right, Trey? I think it's rare, though, but who knows? I would assume it's rare. This is planet Earth. And I would assume that in our broader community, there will be a lot of people wanting to claim that who are not that. But I think when we're talking about feeling like we're not fitting in, that could be a reason. It really could. So let's see, Barbie, do we think that you are starseed? I don't know, maybe, but I'm thinking that the longing for home for you has more to do with family of origin stuff, that you did not necessarily feel like you belonged with your family of origin. Sophia Hart, welcome. Thanks for being here. What else can we say about that otherness? Now with the world, that's when I start to think, well, maybe there is a starseed thing here. Who knows? But I also think, I'm going to stick with my story, that in this... Barbie Bird, yeah, that's so fair. Yep. In this lifetime, you didn't fit in with your family. So I'm going to tell you a story about that. And this, I think, definitely applies to you, Barbie, and could apply to a lot of us here, whether or not the starseed thing does. There's this thing, and I didn't write about it in the newsletter because I was being lazy. But there's this thing, and maybe it's a whole other newsletter, I don't know. A thing that I call the next evolution. So, and Febborn, this could speak to you feeling like you're not fitting in with your sibling group as well. That in a lot of families, there's that one person. So like, let's imagine ourselves back in cave person times. And Barbie Bird, say it's you and your family living in the cave. You're going to be the person who's going to look outside the cave and say, it's kind of dark and dank in here. I don't really love it. I'm going out there and I'm going to build a construct and I'm going to live in that. And instead of having your family say, wow, that's a great idea. Can you build one for us too? They're going to be like, oh, what do you do that for? She thinks she's better than us. What's up with that? Why are you doing that? Look at her. She wants to go do that. Right? So without people like you, there would be, we'd all still be living in caves without people like you. And so I would definitely identify you, Barbie, as next evolution. And I think a lot of us in this group maybe would identify that way. I am not that. I actually had a family who would be like, oh, good idea, build us one. But yeah, that's what I think is going on with you for sure, is a family who couldn't see your brilliance, who could not see and appreciate your brilliance. So Barbie, oh man, yeah, I definitely feel that. Barbie Bird, my family is already involved in some ways. I mean, every family gives their kids something to tell a therapist, without a doubt. But yeah, certainly. Oh, Barbie Bird, no wonder I thought I had little to offer and still do a bit right, when in fact you've got the most to offer. Yeah, that's what I think, for sure. All right. Okay, Jeannie Mnuchin, so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. I saw Medium That Rocks here, and I'm like, we missed you at our members-only live stream because I was using the Grateful Dead Tarot along with other ones. Definitely watch the replay. You'll enjoy it. Anyway, Jeannie Mnuchin, it was so good to have you with us last night. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. I often am alone and rarely fit into groups. However, I always long for a creative community, often made up of unique, oddball folks, right? Diana Price, I don't know if you're here today, but Diana's like talking about Misfit Island, and how we're all Misfit Island, which I totally love. How soon will I feel that I am part of the creative community here? And when will others see me as part of it? Anything that I can do to grow that process that I have not thought of? Okay, so that feels like a 3-card reading maybe. How soon? How soon? I feel like it is already happening incrementally. Incrementally. It is already happening. Justine, we missed you. It is already happening incrementally, so incrementally you may not be seeing it. When will others see you as a part of it? Jeannie, they already do. They already do. Maybe not to the extent that we're looking for, but it's already happening. It's already happening. Is there anything else you need to do? No, man, I think you just need to be patient and know that, and keep doing what you're doing. Patient, proactive, and positive. The 3 Ps, patient, proactive, and positive. Knowing that it is already happening. And you're already doing it. That's what I think. All right. All right. Deborah Fabos, thank you for being here. YT Paper Conservator, not sure what that is or what that means. Lucid in the Matrix, Next Evolution, aka Cycle Breakers. So, I would say yes and no. Because I feel like cycle breakers very often, like that is its own designation sometimes, which is the people who have children and do things very differently than was done for them. So I feel like that can be a generational thing, which you're right, the next evolution also is. You're not wrong about that. But I think there is also another distinction for cycle breakers in that it very often refers to parenting differently. And Barbie Bird comes in and says, yes, if I have kids, I would be the cycle breaker. Yes. So what do we say? People who are next evolution are people who have the opportunity to be cycle breakers when they have kids. Perfect. I love that. Thank you. All right. Baby cakes. I see you here. Thanks for being here. I'm seeing you communicating here. Good stuff. The next question I see is Melissa. Thanks for being here, Melissa. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. Thanks for using members-only emojis. As a child, I did not look anything like my family. Oh my gosh, skin tone, hair, facial features, and people routinely asked my mother where she adopted me from. And I routinely was made fun of by kids for that. Ew. Ew. Oh my gosh. I didn't know this. For as long as we've known each other, that's a Melissa fact I was not aware of. Oh my gosh. Even to this day, one of my biggest shadows is not fitting in and its cousin being left out, my Five of Pentacles shadow. In my 40s, I've come to take steps to embrace marching to the beat of my own drum, but still sometimes get triggered. What advice does Spirit have to wholeheartedly recognize and accept my unique magic? Oh, Melissa, please do send me the picture. I want to see it for sure, for sure. All right, so Melissa, I am going to do that reading, but I'm going to tell you, like, the thing that comes up for me, like if we were just sitting there having a drink together, as you and I sometimes have gotten the opportunity to do, and just BSing about this topic, I would say the thing that is needed, in addition to whatever I'm going to pull from the cards, and it's like Cartman from South Park, where I can't do this without swearing, but I won't say the whole word. I'll just be like, F y'all. Like, there has to be some part of us where we're just like, all y'all who said and did those things that made me feel bad, even if you didn't mean it, even if it wasn't malicious, in some way there's this F y'all. Because it takes away the power, like, so yeah, so there I am embracing Cartman. You got to embrace your inner Cartman. Melissa, love it. Right, there you go. All right, so here we go. What advice does Spirit have into wholeheartedly recognizing and accepting my unique magic? Well, I think part of it is healing, because you stepped out, like you were born into this, like, okay, groove in a record, this is the record we're playing, this is the song we're playing, this is your life and what it's going to be. And you've already stepped out of it. Now, you grew up not looking like your family, but still have the same family expectations. And you've stepped out of that groove in a way, in some ways, and you are stepping out of that groove. But I think there's a part of you that feels bad about that too. I think there's a part of you, like it's like you're caught between two worlds. The world of still trying to fit into the expectations and the world of Cartman, F y'all. And I think you have to choose. You have to heal from, like, there's a lot of trauma there. There is a lot of healing, and I know you do a lot of healing work. Melissa, totally resonates. And this is a next layer of healing work, is really what it is. And it is the recognition of the courage and the loneliness and the trauma that come from removing ourselves from the groove. And it's like you're looking for your new groove is really what it is. And when we talk about the journey for your new groove, that's scary too, because it's been unsupported. But like it or not, that's the path you're on. So there it is. All right. And Lumen, the newsletter is about fitting in and how none of us do. Melissa, totally resonates. Great. Thank you. Thank you. All right, baby cakes, here you are. It is definitely a journey to fit in eventually. Even if we feel like we fit in one place, then we travel, and again, we don't fit in with certain crowds or certain age groups. Sometimes we don't want to fit in, but rather distance ourselves preferably, which is the healthier option. So true, so true. Right, Lumen comes back, it's like, oh man, the story of my life. Yeah. Okay, Wendy Robeson. Thanks for being a member for 2 years. It was good to see you last night. As a child, I always felt like I didn't fit in, but being homeschooled made it worse. I was painfully shy. Years later, I was diagnosed with autism, which explains some of it. I used to try and fit in, but the older I get the empowered, but the older I get and the more empowered I get, the less Likely I want to fit in. Yeah. But there are still times in a large crowd of people I don't know that sometimes in a large crowd of people I don't know, that feeling creeps in to reminds me of the negative thoughts that I battle. I used to think this was just something I felt, but as time goes by, I found no one feels like they fit in as a teen. Most everyone feels like that. Right, so like what are we doing wrong as a society that creates that? Although, Wendy, I would say you probably also were dealing with some religious trauma as well. I think that's there too. So yeah, good comments. I didn't see a question in there, so I'm going to keep going. Ben, Libra Does Tarot, thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. Thanks for being a moderator. Love the topic this week. Made me realize that fitting in is dull. How can I shift the energy I waste in trying to fit into being comfortable to being outstanding or standing out, right? And Ben, from what I can see, that energy is shifting around you anyway. Like it or not, that's what's happening. But I think the key, it's a lot of what Wendy was saying, that we all have that pain, and recognizing that and transcending that. But recognizing, Ben, that if you don't fit in, it's probably because you're smarter than the group of people you're with. And I'm not saying that to make you arrogant. I'm just saying that because that's probably the case. And so you need to hang out with the smart people. And you need to hang out with the people who don't want to put you in a box. You know, the people who are like, oh, Ben is this way. Or Ben is this way. Because, Ben, you are multifaceted. And so you don't want to be in a box. You can hang out with this community and this community and this community, but you're all of that and more. So intersectionality, I think. Let me know what you think. Gianna, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. This is just kind of for fun because I'm not sure if the cards can be used like this. But what is the 3-step process for me finding people and places that I feel like myself in? I love this, and maybe we'll do this for you, but maybe this is something we can all do. So everybody take notes for your own practice, because yeah, I don't see why we couldn't do this. This feels like a great exercise. And I love your wording. Finding people and places that I feel like myself in. That brings tears to my eyes. And, you know, it is said, y'all know that in my 20s, I followed the Grateful Dead around and was really part of that Grateful Dead community when it was at its largest in history. Enjoyed it, had a really good time. But one thing that was written during that time was like people who were attracted not just to the music, but to the community, that we were all looking to fit in. We were misfits looking to fit in. And I remember the first show I went to, I was like, man, people are dressed way too much the same. I don't want to fit in. Eventually I got over that, but I got past, it's that same thing, man. There's the group of people who are shiny, and then you get through them and you find the real people. I think that's true in any group. But the first time in my life I really fully felt like I fit in a way where I just relaxed was at a tarot conference, my very first tarot conference. And I'm in a room of people, and everyone there is a professional reader, a writer, a deck designer, all of that. First time in my life, I'm in a room of people who are literally professionally doing what I'm doing and have some of the same knowledge that I have. And oh my gosh, that feeling was the best in the world, which is why you all should come to StaarCon 5. I didn't intend for that to be a commercial, but it did turn into that. Right, Barbie Bird, I always feel so welcome in esoteric shops. Right, there is something like to be with your people in that way. Feels really good. All right, so Gianna, here we go. 3-step process for you finding people and places that you feel like yourself in. Oh, and Justine, I feel so comfortable being and dressing how I want at StaarCon. It's true, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think to a large extent, I'm not going to say all tarot conferences are that way, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are. All right. 3-step process for finding people and places that you feel like yourself in. Hey, Roxanne, I haven't seen you in a million years. Thanks for being here. Okay. So, Gianna, the first thing is any negative self-talk that you have about, like when we talk about feeling like yourself, any negative self-talk about how yourself is and what it feels like to be yourself has to go. Like first, you must delight in being yourself and feeling like yourself. That's number 1. Number 2, seek genuine friends, even if they're not particularly like you. Like one of my best buddies is Terry. Y'all know Terry, right? Terry Salamoni. And like we go out and I'm dressed in bright colors, she's dressed in black, right? We are different. We are different in our musical tastes. We are different. But we fit in with each other. So you don't have to be alike to fit in, right? And finally, to recognize that for you specifically, Gianna, it's about an energy of love. It's about an energy of peace. It's about an energy of kindness. It's about an energy that welcomes but does not judge creativity. Those are the things I think that you're really looking for. Let me know what you think. Roxanne, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Okay. Von Ray, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. Excuse me. 38 years, and I still don't feel like I fit in anywhere, and sometimes it feels incredibly lonely. Do the cards have any advice for me? Honestly, you're going to start to hate me, Von Ray, because the cards keep on sort of the same thing, like, yes, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. And it's painful, and you are definitely on a healing journey here. But you have to keep going, and part of it is feeling grounded. I feel like it would be good for you to do some chakra work, specifically root chakra. That would be very helpful for you. Reach out, look it up. If you can't find anything good, reach out to me. I'll give you some thoughts. But I think that would be helpful. And there are rewards here to hanging in. There are definitely rewards in the long run to hanging in there. Roxanne, I am glad you're well. I think of you often as well. All right. Free Shadow. This is fun. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members only emojis. I've never needed to fit in and love to be alone. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Do I take being alone too far and use it as an excuse to not to spend time with friends? A little bit, but you do it in protection of your own energy. I think you are a person who is very comfortable in your own energy because you've had to be, and you're not as comfortable in other people's energies. And it takes something. Like, I think if you wanted to spend time with other people, you would need to do more with psychic protection. I think that would be really necessary. So I don't think you're doing anything bad or wrong. I don't think you're being avoidant in any way that is harmful to yourself or others. But I do think if you wanted to be more social, psychic protection would be the thing. Oh, Wendy, thank you, thank you, thank you. I missed a couple of people. Thank you, including you. I will come back to you. Yes. Ben, that makes sense. I can feel the energy shift too. Feel like I'm getting more confident being okay doing things for me rather than what others want, and when that doesn't align. Moving on. Yes, indeed. All right, Wendy, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see it, I see it. And Damini, we're doing here questions today about fitting in. So if you'd like to get in a different question when I see it come in, I'll just jump right to it. Thank you so much. And Wendy Robeson, thank you. Will I ever find a deep friendship with anyone again? I think the first thing you have to do is find a deep friendship with yourself. I feel like there are ways that you are not always kind to yourself. I think the religious trauma has sunk in. And so there is a healing journey for you about learning to be a good friend to yourself and learning to have good boundaries with others, because it's hard to make a friendship when you don't have boundaries, because then people can come in and just trample all over you and you've already invited them in. So I feel like, yes, I think you could have many good friends, but it's about being friends with yourself first and then learning boundaries so that you can be safe to have friends. Free shadow, I will look into that. My daughter thinks I'm very empathic. I think so too. I think so too. Oh, Wendy, yes, so true. That was beautiful. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, now. Oh, Febborn, can't thank you enough for being kind and patient. Aw, thank you so much. Okay, and who's next? It is Vaishali. I've always felt and still feel like I'm the odd one out, and asked why only me? Why am I not like the others? As I grew up as an adult, I understood I needed to accept myself and self-love. What do the cards have to say about me being an odd one? That part of your oddness is your compassion and your kindness. That part of your oddness is your ability to see things from many different perspectives. And that as you come to accept these things about you, people will come to accept and treasure those things about you as well. All right. Trey, I keep looking for, I see I just got past some messages, like I know you're sort of changing your question. Let me know when you get your question in, and I will, and that it's definitely the question you want to ask, and I'll jump you ahead. How about that? You changed your question once, it's still there. Okay, good, 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 good. Okay, just wanted to make sure, As long as we got a question for you, and in fact, it's coming up. So, oh my gosh, Barbie Bird, I read a very old status from when I was like 18, and it read, longing for a home I do not know, or homesick for a place that doesn't exist. Yeah, that, and I think that can come from being starseed, but I also think that can come from not feeling like we fit in our household. Vaishali, you're very welcome. Trey, I am now seeing your question that I did not see before, so thank you. And I'm glad you asked this. Right, Jeannie, don't fit in my family, but love them. And as long as they love you too, I think that's all good. Trey Cameron, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. Am I a starseed? I've always felt like I didn't fit in, even though I had friends, and still kind of feel like that. So let's see. What's the potential that Trey Cameron is starseed? I think anything is possible here. I also, though, I have to say, I think there's something, and I don't know if this is your personality, your astrology, your trauma response, I don't know, but I think there's a part of you that really doesn't want to fit in. There's a part of you that's a little bit of a contrarian, and I'm not saying that as a criticism. I'm saying it as a compliment. And so there's a part of you, Trey, that is like, yeah, I could fit in here, but I choose not to. And I think that would be an interesting thing to explore. Is like, what is that and where did that come from? Trey, yeah, that's true. Yeah, what is that? Well, let's see. Let's do the reading. What is that and where did it come from? I think it comes from the fact that you do have some extra juice. You are not like the other kids because you have some different talents and some different ways of looking at things. So I think it's really about embracing your talent is really the thing. But, you know, I always find a way to come around to that with you eventually, don't I? All right. You are very welcome, Trey. Where are we? Okay. Medium that rocks. So good to see you, Kimmy. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being a member. We appreciate you. I've never fit in, but also never wanted to. What do the cards say about this? I think you've done a good job finding some specific friends that are good, but you've also been trained to accept way too much BS from people. So for you, there's not been a lot of ability to put up boundaries against BS. So fitting in would have just meant more BS. I think now that you can have more boundaries, it will be easier to find the groups where you really have some great synergy. Oh my gosh, Free Shadow, Christiana, you are describing the movie The Croods. I love it. Outsiders saved the day. Great animated movie. Cool. Okay, Christine Hallowell, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Great newsletter. I can definitely relate. Hang on, there we go. Okay, I can definitely relate. I've always felt like the odd one out. I was bullied as a child, etc. I've healed and changed so much. Proud of my progress. I do feel I'm an old soul. Not sure why I'm back here. What does Spirit want me to know about where I am on my life path right now? I think on your life path right now, Christine, you are learning who you are and who your communities are. Like you're really figuring yourself out. And so you'll find the people that you fit in with because that's part of your process right now. Ah, Trey, just to clarify, were you leaning yes? I saw you nodding your head to the starseed thing. Or was it maybe more something you couldn't get a clear view on? Both. I was leaning yes, but not sure. Oh, Roxanne, you know, that's good to know because I haven't been back at FPG for a while. I will definitely do your question, but it's good to know because if I did go back, you won't be there. All right. So, Deepika. In my friend circle, I currently feel the odd one out and not necessarily in a positive way. No, it's like everyone is moving forward in their respective fields. However, I'm still stuck in mine. What do the cards have to say about my career and this feeling? You're comparing your insides to other people's outsides, which is always a problem because we're always going to feel lacking in that way. But I also feel like you're not necessarily, you are literally not happy with the way your career is going. And that's true, and I think you could make some corrections to that. And maybe you need a new job, and maybe you need more education, but I think you do need to make some career corrections. Medium that rocks, you are very welcome. Oh, Free Shadow, my older sister did the same, you are adopted spiel, like for Melissa. It really affected me negatively. I pray peace and confidence in ourselves to all of us who had that type of teasing. Yeah. Claire C., so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. Appreciate you. Will my sweet granddaughter fit in and make friends during her first year in high school? In middle school, she hid in the library behind a bookshelf during lunch. Oh, gosh, man. I can kind of relate to that. I think, though, I think it's going to be hard at first. Like in the first semester, it's going to be hard, but by the second semester, I think she'll be good. Okay, Lumen, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I think as a whole, the collective feels they don't fit in because it feels like everyone is so hyper-focused on looking and expressing in similar ways, especially on social media. It feels like people are afraid to actually really be themselves. They see what works and rest there. Yeah, I think that's so true. Christine, thank you. You're spot on. I'm definitely looking to find out more about myself and a tribe I can better relate to and fit into. I have had to let go of some friends that were fake. Yeah. All right. So, here we go. Lumen, you are up next. I would like to ask how I can embrace that fact that I don't fit in and feel confident expressing it to the world as my biggest strength in a bold way. I love that. Release the programming from the patriarchy. That could be a father, a grandfather, an uncle, but someone who wanted, maybe didn't want to, but maybe accidentally made you feel smaller. Release that programming that you're not supposed to stand out. And then you just naturally will because it is your nature so to do. Okay. D9, will I meet someone who gets me? You have to get yourself first. You will, but I think there's some healing from the past that you need. There's some releasing of anxiety. You also need some root chakra work. You need to get yourself first. Oh, Dina, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. These cards are miraculous, and you, of course. Well, thank you. And Dina, what should I know about being born into a fractured family from the get-go? I think there was a part of you that knew the dynamic didn't work, like you objectively knew it was wrong, even though you hadn't been taught that. So what you need to know is that you have within your makeup an inherent sense of balance, an inherent sense of right and wrong that was with you no matter what. And so you came here with that part of you really fully formed, and that's how you kept your balance throughout all of that. Roxanne, I've not been a part of FPG for several years now. I think it was a good thing I left. What say you? I think while, the spiritual aspect of it was good for you, there was so much more that was political, perhaps, and perhaps on some level a little self-destructive. I think it is good that you have moved on. I think it was appropriate for you to move on when you did. And it looks like you're doing well. So that's great. All right. Baby cakes. I always wanted to fit in, but over the years it changed and I don't care about it. But rather to find people that I fit in with and vibe with and not try changing myself for anyone. Good. I think that's healthy. What do the cards say about my past journey and my route that I am taking? Past journey was not you being in your own integrity. You weren't being yourself. Now you are remembering who you are and being who you are. You are being yourself. You are remembering who you are, which means you are attracting people to yourself who are more like yourself. That takes time, but I believe it's happening, and that's a good thing. Oh, Roxanne, nailed it, my beautiful friend. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thanks. It's great to see you. Thank you. Okay, Honeybee Totem. So I can make this question be about fitting in because obviously it's a weird family situation. Can you please see if I'll be successful in retrieving my stolen inheritance from my mother that forged my signature 11 years ago in order to take it from me? And the answer is, I'm not an attorney. And I think you have to be really careful because you don't want to spend time chasing something that can't be chased, but I think the right attorney could probably help you. Okay, Dina, that rings true. All right, very good. Well then, from my perspective, friends, I've answered every question. If I accidentally skipped you, please do reiterate. I will be back tomorrow. I haven't put up the lives for the rest of the week yet, but I'll put them up soon, today. I'll be back tomorrow at noon with your weekly wrap-up. And Taroscopes are up. They're coming up on TikTok right now, but they are here on YouTube, so check out your Taroscopes. My friends, I really, really appreciate you. Special shout out, of course, to the members and the moderators. And thank you for being part of a community where we all are working to feel like we fit in. And thank you for making me feel welcomed. I really appreciate you. I have often said your tarot friends are your best friends. And so come to StaarCon, either in person or online. Seriously. I'll be back tomorrow. There's a link to book a reading. Thank you so much. Everybody take really good care.